Good morning. Welcome to Dashcam Diary of a Disabled. Today's diary is pretty average. My mood is slowly starting to get better. After taking those steroids, they really messed with my head, along with my PTSD that I have with my medical VA providers. And as the time nears closer to those VA appointments, the more kind of on edge I am, regardless, no matter what. Like, even if I wasn't under these circumstances of medications that mess with my mood and hormones and adrenal glands and such, and to realize I'm still in a flippin' flare, regardless of taking the medication or not. I took 2 packs. That should have been sufficient. I can't just stay on steroids for a long time. I really wished I could. On one hand. On the other hand, I'm like, coming off of them is a nightmare for me. Coming off of steroids, no matter how slow, is a nightmare for me. My body is just... And then throw some PTSD in. Woo. It's been a bad week, guys. I'm at least starting to feel like myself again, even with the slight PTSD still hanging over my head a little bit with my anxiety. Today I'm wearing as many ridiculous items as possible. Because of my PTSD, I need to learn how to stem, to try and get some of my energy out. I don't know what my stems are because I was never really allowed to be autistic or ADHD. I was always expected to be a perfectly mannered young adult kid. But now I'm middle-aged and, now I just do whatever the F I want for the most part. But it's hard to know in my middle age, like, what are my stems? Do I have stems? I need to have some stems. I need to have a way to get this energy out because my emotions are big emotions that this little body don't know how to deal with. As with the majority of the population nowadays, honestly, like, seriously. I just watched a video on YouTube last night about Sephora and 10-year-olds. Are you flipping kidding me? These 10-year-olds are addicted to Sephora. I don't know. I'm not a parent, so I wouldn't know what the whole trends are and stuff. It keeps, somebody without kids, it kind of keeps that kind of person out of the loop of like what's trending, because kids are all about what's trending and what's popular and what's relevant in the world. As an adult, unless you force yourself to like try to stay relevant and try to like keep up with trends, I mean, usually as middle-aged adults or older, you really don't give an F about what the hell is trending. You do whatever you want anyways. You're an adult. You've been an adult for quite some time, so I guess the nostalgia kind of wears off about a lot of stuff, and we're all really kids stuck in an adult body. We really are. As the generations keep melding and getting more concentrated and I guess evolving, but I honestly think we're devolving in so many ways. Sorry to be a little bit of a pessimist this morning, guys. I am happy about it though. At least I'm happy about my pessimism today. I can laugh at it. A couple days ago, there was nothing that you could do to make me laugh. I was determined to be in a crummy mood no matter what, even after being medicated. I was like, my patch is just less effective now because I feel so much still. But if I wasn't on this patch, I wouldn't want to be here. I try to keep my optimism up, but I guess I did start my day off by reading a depressing post by one of my Facebook friends. And so I need to like palate cleanse. I need to watch or think of some positive stuff. I need to palate cleanse my brain from what I read. Learned about Sephora last night. Like, the content you consume really does affect a person. I'm one that really hates to admit that and accept that, but it's true. There's quite a bit of cop lights going the opposite direction. What the F is going on? Just like there was a fire or something going on not too far from us yesterday too. I never got on the news to go check it out. I got distracted and sidetracked by other things, people. There goes another cop. That is the third one I've seen go in the opposite direction. Oh, and that one's an undercover. That one's a truck. A truck undercover cop. Flashlights going. Not flashlights, lights. I got bad brain fog today. The chronic fatigue is starting to set back into. Like, it gets to the point with being a chronic illness warrior that you just kind of get used to it. You're used to the way you feel, but you're thankful for the days that you don't feel horrible symptoms. And the relief I got during the steroids and the things I was able to get done was awesome. You know, I'm going to apologize to my doctor when I see him next. I yelled at him good. And I was inconsolable, and nothing he suggested was what I was going to do. And so he had the feeling of he's stuck spinning his wheels, and he asked me if I felt like that was going on. I'm like, no, I don't actually. Despite how upset and inconsolable I was yesterday, which I was already on. I'm going to defend everything, and I'm going to be the opposite of everything that my doctor and anybody wants that day. Like, when I'm having a day, I'm having a day. And that was just a bad day. And bad combination of medication, coming off of medications at the same time, and I was a complete B word. I can't say that I've been a very positive, optimistic person most of the month since I started flaring towards the end of July. I've been miserable this month. August has been absolutely miserable for me. Mood-wise, physical-wise. July leading up to August, I had more fun, and I had a better mentality, and I wasn't on, I had a better mentality during July, despite all the things that I deal with regularly, being a chronic illness warrior, an EDSer, and ADHDer, and autism. Which brings me to another thing. With social media and shows and reality TV, all that kind of stuff. I watch Love is Blind. Don't hate. I love Love is Blind, and I love the UK version so far. This is its first season. I've been watching Love is Blind every season since it started. I have a major interest in society, and I have even though some of it is very scripted, I get that. It's scripted to a point, but a lot of it aspect of things, just because my stuff is so deficient and dysregulated, it makes me that much more determined to figure it out. The stuff that's very challenging, I love a challenge. I love puzzles. I feel like I love trying to figure things out. I'm not like, and then I'm also an empath and a people pleaser, but I've stopped people pleasing a long time ago, as much as possible. Like, I want to please myself more than anybody. In so many ways. But even then, I don't even have an interest in that sometimes. I don't. When you're dealing with so much suffering and misery, physically and mentally, some days you're just like, I don't want anything to do with that with a 10-foot pole. I just want to run away from people. And I have like 3 mental breakdown videos. Like I was so in fight or flight response. I was so shut down, guys, on Wednesday. I was so shut down, I could not even really even talk. I could not communicate. I couldn't communicate anything. That, I feel like I regressed to like a 10-year-old having a tantrum of sorts and just yelling at everybody because I'm so miserable in my own body. I can't handle it. I can't handle my big feelings some days. And that's why I need to figure out what my stems are, and with my PTSD, knowing what my triggers are and knowing what I can to try and navigate those while giving myself extra grace, I have to be very dramatic to myself in my ableism and my acceptance of being disabled. I'm all over the place this morning with my topics. I was talking about reality TV. Okay, how did I get here? So, reality TV, The Love is Blind. One of the contestants, or one of the guys that's getting married, he was actually really ashamed to admit to his soon-to-be wife, the one that he's in love with. Love is blind. They meet and pause, and they form an emotional connection through dating for a couple weeks, and then the experiment goes. They then meet in real life after the guy proposes. He has to propose in order for him to meet, otherwise you're not going to end up meeting. So it's very scripted. It's so scripted because they only choose some of the couples. They don't choose all the couples that come out of there. There's still tons of couples that come out of there that they don't pick because of it's not entertaining enough, I guess. I know that. I know the reality of reality TV. Like, there's so much that they can do to kind of, we're going to pick this because we think this is going to be the most drama couples, or the most successful, one or the other. But I think it's a combination of them both, really. They want to give the ones that they think that have the best potential, and they say it's a social experiment, but whatever. Those are the types of reality shows that I like to watch that are social experiments, per se. Because of my vested interest in mental health and sociology, and just wanting to know how to fix my own deficits. So I have a major interest in it because I have deficits and dysregulation. It just makes it challenging to navigate the world as it is, because the world isn't as accepting as we all want to try and make it out to be. It's not. But yet, as humans, from a human science standpoint, we're social creatures, and we are not meant to be in isolation. It was the whole social, my anthropology background in college. I took a few classes. I'm by no means no freaking expert about it at all. Like, I admit that, But with my vested interest in societies, and even ancient societies, really, I had no idea that I was interested in that until I was an adult. Because, gosh, my ADHD took me all over the place as a kid. My head was always in the freaking sky. was very judgmental, but yet accepting of most of all my friends, as crazy as they all are. Some of them, they are no longer my social circle. And as we get to be adults, we spend less and less time together outside of our marriages, and we spend more and more time working towards burnout and physical disabilities and mental disabilities, to homelessness, to drug abuse. I mean, that's like very linear in a downward fashion. That's only one perspective. There's also lots of great in the world and happiness, and unfortunately the news doesn't report on that as often. So anyways, I was just kind of taken aback by the dude, because he was different compared to all the other couples, like in Love is Blind UK season right now. But he did admit that he had ADHD. Like, there's only like 3 or 4 people in his life, out of everybody he knows throughout his entire life, only 3 or 4 people are the people he chose to tell that he has it, which end up being on national television now, of course. So the cat's out of the bag if he was trying to keep that secret. But like, he felt in a way kind of ashamed by it. You can tell by his demeanor and stuff, because it is hard having relationships and friendships, having emotional dysregulation and being on the spectrum and being neurospicy is very difficult. We just want to blend in and mirror others, and so we're so sensitive to our environment, we end up mirroring those around us. And so if we're in a negative, pessimistic environment, it's hard for you to not become the same. Just like when people, like women that are in the Navy together and work together, or even just work, all the women start to get on the same kind of cycle. They will start cycling at the same time because of the environment, because of the energy, and it's just the way life is. Take it with what you will, but you are a product of your environment. It's nature versus nurture, and it's both. It's not one or the other, it's both. And I can't believe there's so many environmental triggers to so many things. The overconsumption of this company, or this freaking country, the overconsumption and the greed is just outlandish in America compared to other countries. Other countries don't know what this is like. They really don't. They only get what they see on the news, and none of them really want it, but yet they do want it because of the influencers on TikTok. Sephora is targeting kids, guys, and the employees are the ones that are getting really disgruntled, because these 10-year-olds don't have flippin' manners. It's Generation Alpha, yo. Generation Alpha. These 10-year-olds at Sephora are rude, no manners, and they are entitled mother truckers. So it's not saying what's wrong with the kids, it's really what's going on with our parenting. WTF. It is the parents' freaking fault. Their children are that way. And it's the public school system and all these kids not being freaking monitored to how different parents parent. There's different parenting styles, and the public school system is a parenting style. Freaking-lutely. It's ridiculous. They're so destructive to the makeup. What 10-year-old wouldn't be? Are you flipping kidding me? I wasn't even really allowed to wear makeup as a 10-year-old, but these 10-year-olds are so concerned about their skincare and looking young for a long time, because that's what they're seeing on social media. Like 20, 30-year-olds trying to protect their skin a little later, and then these 10-year-olds and these Generation Alpha that grew up on iPads up on social media because their parents are too busy trying to work their butts off to make a living and sending their kids to public school, and then other kids mingling and influence their kids. So you got all these influences in public school, more so than the parents at home, because public school has custody of your children longer than parents do. It's just a fact. They have more time with your child than you do, unless you homeschool your child. And it is extremely difficult for that to happen. And there's all these trends on YouTube and social media about trad wives being traditional wives that stay at home and are essentially trophy wives. But they're trad wives, and they usually have come from money and have it made, and they don't know what it's like to work an entire day of their life, a lot of them. But I also am not privileged in that capacity, so I wouldn't even know what it's like, so I have no right to complain about something I don't know anything about, because I've never lived that way. However, I can see the appeal to it, because that was always the American dream, that was like the 50s thing. That was the man provided, which is also anthropologic study of society. Is the men would go out and hunt, and the women would stay home and breed and have babies and do all the stuff at home. But as society has changed, and now some of society wants to go back to that. They want to go back to that? How? We can't, with inflation in America the way it is. I mean, unless the man is extremely wealthy. And then we have all these entitled influencers. Oh my goodness. These entitled influencers. I hope, if I ever made it that big, I hope if I ever did, I don't think I would, though. I don't know. I mean, anything's possible. But anyways, I would hope that I would never be entitled like that. I am not entitled to anything. I'd like to say I came from humble beginnings. I've had to work. Not necessarily because I had to, but I also wanted to at the same time, because I wanted my independence and I wanted my own wealth, and I wanted to be able to do things that I wanted to do in my life. I mean, that's the American dream to me, is just being able to be happy and love what you do every day and have a roof over your head. But at the same, as much as I love traveling and stuff, I do want to have a home base. I want to have a place that I come home to. And I wish I had a significant other to come home to, and somebody to help me in the everyday things, and somebody to talk to, and hopefully somebody that doesn't mind me taking shit out every once in a while, and me taking stuff out on too, because that's just inevitable with roommates, and living with anybody is, end up hurting those that are closest to you, because you're hurt. Hurt people, but healing people heal people. And I sometimes when I'm injured, I am not able to heal as I should on the regular, but I'm a chronic illness warrior too, so I'm chronically trying to heal. I'm trying to find new, happy, good ways that will help me and help slow down my degeneration. It's inevitable, I know that, but at what point, do you suffer so much that you just want to, like Robin Williams, he had this disease that nobody really knew about until after the fact, and they found that out, and his brain actually was changing, and he couldn't control his thoughts at some point, and so he's just like, I can't do this to those that I love around me, and so he took the ultimate sacrifice and sacrificed himself. Even though he brought so much joy to everybody else in the world, he had to take care of himself first, and unfortunately, he's no longer here. But I can understand to the point of, I'm a chronic illness warrior myself, and I can only imagine once I started losing my brain, cognitive function and then just not knowing what you're doing or being in a blacked out state. You know, who wants to live like that? I don't think anybody does. But to be alive is to be thankful and humble. I am happy to be here. Regardless of the fight and regardless of the chronic illness and the fighting I have to do, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive. So, everybody, I wish you all a beautiful, happy day, and try your best to keep your mood aligned with your body, and hopefully manifest less pain, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'm going to try and enjoy mine, and I'm going to try and go to the Rock and Gem show. I'm going to try and get my Walmart stuff done, just so I can try and not think about this pain and lay around all day and not get anything accomplished. I just want to go have some fun. I deserve it, because of the week that I've had. I'm not entitled to it, but I deserve it because I've worked really hard at trying to help myself cope and be a better version of myself that I want to be. So, peace out.